This is Lisa T. Meyer, and this is my introduction video for EDL 853. Some personal information. I have been teaching for 17 years. 11 of those have been in special education. I have taught life skills for 6th through 8th grade, and then resource K through 6. 1 year we didn't have enough staff, so I also taught 9th grade special ed. I was a special education teacher. Before I was a special education teacher, I taught general ed 6th grade for 6 years. Next year, I'll be starting a new job as a special education instructional coach. I have been married for 16 years. We have 2 children. We have a 15-year-old boy and an 11-year-old daughter. For my educational background, I have a bachelor's of science in elementary education with an emphasis in special education from Emporia State. I have my master's in English as a second language from K-State, and then I'm currently getting my building leadership endorsement from Fort Hays. This is my last class, and I will be taking my praxis in the middle of July. For my school, the strengths, MTSS. We just started that 2 years ago. It's a multi-tiered system of supports. We have groups for reading and math. Right now it's kind of shaky. It's not the best. We don't necessarily hit the higher end, the enrichment students, and we don't hit the lower end real great either. So that is a goal that we are continually working on. I know that we're going to go and look at other schools and kind of try to model after them. At the beginning of the year, I give all the general education teachers snapshot IEPs, and then they get a revised copy after we hold the IEP meeting. We have pretty good parent involvement at our school. They volunteer. They want to be part of their students' life and kind of know where they're at. We're starting a new program called Rethink. It's for our social emotional group. We just kind of barely skimmed the surface of that last year, but we're going to be digging deeper into it this year. We have related services. We are, like I said, a smaller school district, and so we're part of a co-op, and so those related service providers come out once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on the student needs. I have mainly pull-out students. I do have in-class adult support for our students as well. We have project-based learning that we really started to dig deeper into last year, and I know that that will be continuing also, fitting the curriculum into that. Our teachers do a really good job on cooperative grouping, putting our special ed students with the general ed students, kind of mixing them in, making sure that we're meeting the needs of all those students, along with hitting all the standards in our curriculum. The teachers do a great job of creating visuals to meet the needs of our special ed students. And then we've really hit hard on modifications and accommodations with the general education curriculum, what those teachers can do, what I can help provide for them to meet those standards and then meet the needs of our students also. Our weaknesses at our school, we have 1 special education teacher, kindergarten through 6, and 1 special education teacher, 7 through 12. So we do not have any PLCs. Sometimes this makes it a little more difficult because you really don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. We have no on-site related service providers. So if you have any questions, you either can email them or wait a week for them to stop by again. We currently do not have a student improvement team. And so when teachers feel like a student is struggling, it just kind of ends up in the lap of the special education group. And so we have worked on general intervention forms to fill out and kind of gather more information. So we're right on the first steps of this. We also do not have an early childhood special education teacher. At our school, we do have one that comes once a week. And so I know that some of the early childhood teachers sometimes feel a little shafted because they don't have all the support that they need. We're lacking in inclusion because most of the students are, if they're special ed, they're pull out. And then we're lacking in teacher training, just making sure that we're fitting those differentiated learning. Personal use, I use interactive notebooks in my classroom. I also do a lot with assistive technology. I have some students that are nonverbal, and so we have a lot of assistive technology needs with that. I use MobyMax, which is an individualized learning program. There's a free program, and then there's a paid program where you can get more features to it. My school uses the free program. I do a lot of front loading where I go ahead and speak with teachers the week before, find out what topics they'll be covering, and then go ahead and introduce those to my students a week in advance so they can kind of be ready for the lesson. We do a lot of small groups within my classroom and then within the general education classroom. Most of my students, like I said, are pull-out, so I have a lot of pull-out groups. I use hands-on learning, differentiated learning, and all their lessons are individualized according to their goals. I have good relationships with the general ed teachers and parents, and then making sure that we're always on the same page communicating. My proposal is adding more training for teachers to help with differentiation, adding modifications and accommodations, making sure that everybody knows the difference of those, and making sure that they know how to use those within the school. And then to start a SIT team, because like I said, we do not have one in our school, and I feel like that is a huge weak part in our school. More professional development on assistive technology, because our students that are nonverbal, they're in the lower grades, and so they'll be working their way up. So making sure everybody understands how to use their devices and how to incorporate assistive technology into their lesson. And then more inclusion, making sure that all the students that might have some needs aren't always pull out, that they can be in the general education classroom and still get their needs met. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to learning along with you.